Alright then guys, welcome to the video, welcome back to the channel. I am down at Meguiars today. It's been almost an entire year to the day since I was here to do the day in the bay with the S2000, and a lot has changed on the inside. This is the UK base for Meguiars, arguably the biggest car cleaning brand in the world. They have just transformed their HQ into a dream marketing hub. Let's meet Tommy from Meguiars to give us a tour. First of all, Tommy, welcome to the channel. This is the bay that the S2000 was in a year ago.
A year ago is crazy.
This has changed a little bit since then already as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's been a lot of change. There's a little bit of change with this bay. All the content that we used to do, day in the bay, is all was shot and produced from in here. There's been an addition in the form of this ramp and some additional lighting, but the purpose of this bay now has become, we're calling it a wet bay. It's not a wash bay, but it's a wet bay. So we can bring cars in now, jack them up on the ramp, take wheels off, do componentry detailing, so inside wheels, seals, brakes, suspension components, and there's actually a drain that you're stood quite near really. So the water can drain away safely, and it's just giving us some additional content that we weren't getting before. A bit's changed in here, but fundamentally, visually, the bay that you'll remember.
Yeah, so this framing setup then, this has been in here for ages as well, right?
Yeah, so the structure itself, it's evolved over the years. When it was first installed, it was white framework and it had some halide metal lamps installed, and that was to meet the specifications of OEM QC lines. So if you go into any original manufacturers' production lines, in their QC lines, they'll have rows and rows of inspection bays like this. It's the best or worst, dependent on the state of the vehicle, to put your vehicle in. So it's full inspection paintwork, so you can see swirl marks, imperfections. In that world, they're checking for nibs, imperfections in the paintwork, so obviously that they can finish that before they hand it over to the customer. For a detailing company, for detailing life, you just want to make sure the paintwork's the best, so you need the most critical light setup that you can get.
I guess that's also what these things are as well, these like sunlights as well.
So yeah, this bay was installed 20 years ago here, and technology changed a lot from when we first installed it. So again, we had halide metal lights, we had tube bulbs in here. Of course now, you know, just the simple thing of LED bulbs, right? Drops the heat out of being in here, which again, weirdly can affect the paint because it got so hot in here in the summer that you're actually making the paintwork warm. To try and do processes, you've got to take that into a factor too. So we like to be in control of all the elements of what we're doing. It puts a lot more control, especially with individual stand grip lights. So now they're direct lights, you can put them onto the panel that you want to work with. Lumens are a thing within the lighting world. So we have high lumen count bulbs, LED bulbs for in here. So it's actually proper inspection light, not just what you'd have in the offices as well. So that's all taken into consideration too, from evolution of 20 years ago right the way through to now.
So this is crazy because this is all that was here when I was here.
Yeah.
What has changed in the last year is crazy amounts of stuff. So let's start next door on the evolution of what this space has become then.
We're keeping this detailing bay.
Yeah.
We've now got a state-of-the-art lighting bay. So this is where we'll come to do, that's bright, right?
It's crazy. This is like unreal.
So, state-of-the-art lighting bay. We spoke about lumens within the lighting, so these are as bright as we can get within an LED bulb. But we wanted this to be a clinical environment, so you'll notice as well that there's no cupboards, there's no cabinets. We now have trolleys. We've got storage for, so we bring them in. So whenever we're doing light correction on paintwork, we bring the stuff that we need in a clinical environment to do the paint correction that we need to do the detailing that we need to do, and then obviously pull them out and get the images. So it's everything's geared towards creating the content the best we possibly can, but not forgetting the fact that we're a detailing company.
Yeah, this is like a dream setup really, isn't it? Like,
I joked earlier on, it's a dream or a nightmare dependent on how good you think your car is, right? You bring it in here, I bought mine in here before and be like, oh, crikey, right, it's not as, we've got some work to do, right? This is obviously a real big focal point for us, but there's so much else that's changed now. Everything that isn't in that detailing bay, it now needs a home.
Yeah, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, so obviously in the original detailing bay that you were in, we have cupboards and shelves and everything, but we wanted the new area to be clinical and clean for content. So we've created this space. Obviously we're not reinventing the wheel here, but we've got everything external. So we've got toolbox, which is, we're working on cars, it's nice to have, but all the trolleys now live here, so they're tidy, clean, OCD, which is a big part of detailing too. But we took the opportunity to brand, right? So everything that here tells a bit of our history, being that we're celebrating 125 years next year. So 1901 isn't just a number, it is a fact. That's when we started. And there's a decent argument to be had about that we're older than cars, depending on which Google search takes you down. We were a furniture polish company to start with, and that was a blend of polishes and oils in a garage by the Meguiar family. As it was horse and carts became horseless carriages. So then they had a motor on them. And then that's boys and toys, right? So trying to make them faster, trying to make them look better. Well, they were predominantly wooden. So furniture polish transitioned into that, and then the automotive industry boomed. And here we are 125 years later, 124 years, doing cool stuff with cool cars, and the automotive industry just seems forever, right? So we've got a history timeline of product at the top there from when we actually weren't always Meguiars, we were the Mirror Bright polishing company to start with. And that's the glass bottle that's at the top, and some of the furniture bottles right the way through to our Ultimate Wax, which is our flagship wax that we've got now today. And a cool little fun fact, all of the branding, anything that you see around the building that we walk, whether it's black and yellow or logos, are all on the wall here, is vinyl, it's a wrap.
So this isn't paint?
No.
What?
So, yeah, I know, it's cool, isn't it, right? We're owned by 3M. They've got multiple different divisions and multiple different products, and one of the products that they have developed for commercial use is this. So you just get a file, and it's hung like wallpaper. So I can't quite see the break here now. I know one's here. So it gets just dropped and hung and then heated to the wall. So a couple of reasons, right? You know, we don't own this building, we're tenants. Yeah. So, you know, we can pull that off the wall when time to move, or if we're going to rebrand in a few years. Yeah, anything, all of the logos across the back here, it's all vinyl wrap. It's really cool. Really nice option to get branding across the place. And
then up there, when I was here before, that was offices. Is it still like that?
Yeah, so that was part and parcel. This used to be the European Distribution Centre. So all of the products, everything that anybody purchased across the UK or Europe, once upon a time came through this building.
Whoa.
So there was 350 pallets held here and 3,000 pallets round in a third-party storage. So DHL handle all that for us now. We're not logistic experts, they are. So we've had some change. We were upstairs. We've now moved downstairs into the office, the marketing team. So upstairs are now some offices for our meetings and things. We have our boardroom, but most importantly there, it gives us an ability we've got a retail setup up there so that we can get point of sale ready for the following year. So right now we're working on 2026 offering towards our key retailers such as Halfords, and there's independents like Clarity Security, and there's many, many more. I don't want to annoy any of them by not naming them anymore. But Halfords is the one that we probably would all recognise. That gives us the opportunity to live here when we're trying to make alterations rather than trying to do it on computer. We can physically go, yes, that fits. This is what it looks like. That's our offering. Thank you very much. So that's now probably, you know, the boardroom's main feature up here. Yeah, and then because the boardroom used to be our seminar room, but we now have a lovely classroom for that now.
Oh yeah, this is a really cool room. That's only just been filled with desks as well, right?
Yeah, so when it was actually open and finished quite a while ago, but as with everything, right, sometimes we have to wait for things. We now have I feel like I've said state of the art a lot, but it's brand new. So a brand new state of the art classroom. We host detailing seminars, which are for car clubs or groups of car communities that want to come and learn a little bit more about the best practice on how you get the best out of car care. Genuinely not a Meguiar sales pitch. Our products fit into those processes, but if we want to help and educate, that's a key part of what we do. We were restricted in size in the boardroom upstairs. We're not anymore. So we can now seat up to 30 people. We offer those free of charge. So if car clubs, or if you've got you and your friends or listeners want to come along, you're more than welcome to get something booked in. We run them from January through to the end of March. Typically it's quieter for us car enthusiasts then. Yeah. It's a morning, it's a bit of classroom, me talking at someone for a seminar, and then we do a practical bit too. Yeah, we're really proud to have this, and part of that 125th anniversary is our logo timeline across the back. So as I mentioned, we were the Mirror Bright polishing company to start, and then all the way through to our current logo now.
It's also cool to see the posters on the walls of
the original advert.
I'm especially liking this S2000 one here.
Yeah, the Jay's Racing one.
Yeah, and I did notice last time I was here that on the stairs up to the boardroom, they've got an EP3 as well, which that was a really cool little find. So nice to see that both the cars are actually on the wall here too. Obviously they're not mine. It's cool to be able to showcase more of these as well, I guess.
And that's right. So that's our original advert. So we talk about content, obviously yourself with the YouTube channel. Content 15 years ago was printed media, and I don't even know if someone will pull me up on it. If Instagram had been made by then, maybe just thinking about it, maybe. At the time, it was like, well, what is Instagram? You know, so we were taking people that were the stars of their right world. So in this instance, the Miss Kellys had that Jay's Racing S2000. That car was popular, it was known, and we wanted to align with them. So that's just brand advocacy, right? And now an influencer. Yeah. So, you know, printed media is quite slow, if not dead, depending on who you talk to. So how do we activate that into our real world. And that's what we do. So like today or Day in the Bay, where are those people with those cars now? They're on Instagram or other platforms that they enjoy. So it's nice to have some of this heritage up and show the work that we've been doing in the UK, but whilst we're in the new facility and how it evolves.
Again, the scale is what's nuts. Like, you've got so much space in here to do these things.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see it, like the way you've split it up into have like the sections that do each specific thing rather than having to have all of them like crammed into a certain area.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got some cars in here.
Yeah. Well, and that was also the thing, right? So we were the European Distribution Centre. This was all racking. We have 8 cars of our own that are show vehicles that were in a third-party storage. So we'd use them for events. So probably when you came here last year, they weren't here.
I can't remember.
Now we've got every single one under their own lighting, on their own, I say plinth, but on their own flooring and on display, because when enthusiasts want to come here, whether it be a Day in the Bay or to see the facility, they also want to see the cars too, right?
Yeah.
Probably the one we've got quite a few, we're lucky, but weirdly, I know you've got quite a Japanese following. And I know this is German, but it's a Rocket Bunny kit, kitted Mark II. So I took cues from that. So we have Advan livery, there's cherry blossom seat covering, it's inverted logos, just to give that, I know it's not a drift car, but to give that sort of vibe from the American culture. And a fun fact, everything's painted, so there's no...
Oh really? It's not a wrap?
No, all in the door shuts, all the logo, everything's all painted.
Wow.
We're a car care company. Oh yeah.
Carbon roof as well.
One-off carbon roof. There's a couple of caps that are made. This is a genuine roof cutout, moulded from our roof proper into the gullies, proper carbon roof. Silly thing, really.
It's sick though. Actually, these two are my 2 favourite cars that you have. So it's cool that they're both parked next to each other and both wide body.
We've had different people influence different cars over the years. These happen to be the 2 that I've influenced the most.
Oh, well there we go.
Similar, there's clearly a thing that I like, right? And that's a hot hatch that's wide. Yeah, so we have our first child, if you will, in the American cop car, the Crown Vic. We wanted to start doing a car because, again, as we transition from printed media into social, how do you become relevant? How do you start talking to your audiences, building a car? So this is all original paintwork. Blackie's the best for a car care company. So this was our first. We then transitioned into doing build-offs. So previous colleague, we did a head-to-head, so the Renault 5 versus the Mercedes. Oh, right. And we documented the build. So we bought them as basket cases if you want, and documented them on our YouTube channel. Again, the aim is to educate people. We hoped that that was entertaining. So through entertainment, if we can get people onto our platforms to then pick up some of the educational stuff, that was the key game for it, really. But like I say, we have 8 in total. We've got a few still here now. Volvo Amazon and the Econoline.
They're sick.
They're just brilliant.
This is nuts. Just
it's
so cool because it's so nice. This is so nicely done.
Yeah. Have you seen the engine in this? I'll pop the hood. It's a 2.3 turbo that we took out of its older brother out of the 940. This was designed to be a showpiece rather than make the most horsepower. So we've had people online saying like the manifold's not the most efficient and why would you put the screen pipe out the exhaust? It's a show car. It's for the internet, right? So it pops and bangs and pops 4-foot flames out the thing, and it's stupidly brilliant. But then we come all the way over to the Econoline. So the Econoline with a second owners from new.
Wow, that says 1966.
Yeah, it's a 1966 car or vehicle. We imported it from America with a view to body drop it and everything. We were going to custom it. On collection, we got a brown envelope. It had done 33,000 miles, and we had every single one of the service history, all one owner, photos of him doing his dry cleaning by the side of it. It was 1966 to 1982 it was on the road. That's the last time it was taxed. That's actually the actual tax disc in it. It was dry stored and it came out in 2016 to an auction where we bought it from, but the auction happened to be sponsored by Meguiars too. So that is from the auction too that we've left in it.
No way.
It's cool, isn't it? And it was blue. Every single piece of metal work, every single piece of rubber, because they look a bit old, they're all the original stuff.
Wow.
So we colour changed it to match the Mirror Bright because we relaunched Mirror Bright as a brand. We couldn't chop it up.
Yeah.
So we've got all that paperwork. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. We bring all of that background to content.
Yes.
Why we're here and what we're doing it for, not just for the love of cars, but how do we shoot and put the products and the content out correctly. So we've got our booth.
This is so cool.
It's crazy, isn't it, right? So we used to have a 1 foot by 1 foot portable photo studio that the product just about sat in. Everyone thinks content now of what we're doing today. The truth is that A+ listing content for Amazon, if you want to be an A+ lister, you have to have white-walled images, and maybe as a user of Amazon, you might have seen it but not registered it. Right. To do that content, we've got 250, 300 products. Because we're not just consumer, we have a marine range, we have a body shop range, we have a detailer range, we have so much portfolio. To do all of them and do them correctly on a white wall background takes time. So this is an infinity room. So essentially what you do is, this sits here, you then get, Grant sets his camera up from back here, you shoot it, and the editing, it's almost on a white background already. So the editing time becomes not halved, and if he was here, he'd be pulling faces at me. But it means that the editing side can take the longest time. And if you've got multiples by tens or hundreds, that can go on for weeks and months, right? We're in business, we've got to crack on, we've got stuff to do. When we're making a lovely content marketing studio, let's make a photo booth. Truth be told, to have a product, you can have 3 by 3 meters is what you need to have a product in so that you can be seamless. We're like, well, we have so many cars here, we have so many cars come through for Days in the Bay, why do we not just make it 8 by 8 meters so that we can fit cars in? So we can do proper studio quality photographs when people come for Days in the Bay too. You missed that chance, I'm sorry.
But the Civic.
We do the Civic.
Yeah?
We could do the Civic, can we? We need to clean it.
I think let's do it. Let's get the car clean and get it in here, because I think this is going to look crazy on this
Yeah,
background.
it'd be cool. Why not? Let's get it clean and get her in.
God.
That doesn't look too bad, does it?
This
How cool does that look?
Unbelievably cool in here.
It's exactly why we wanted the bay this big, right? Bit of a clean and the lighting.
Yeah, get some unreal pictures in here. This looks so cool. There are no words. I'm a bit speechless because I've just never had my car in a setting like this before. It's cool that it's like muted as well. Like I've never seen the car looking like this either.
So probably something that it takes a while for the brain to adjust to is the photography film, because it doesn't cast a shadow. So it just gives you that sort of ambient lighting.
Very, very
It looks really good in here.
Yeah, I just keep walking around looking at different areas. It's lines you don't ever notice normally and stuff.
So I mean, we've got one more bit that we haven't shown you that probably talks a little bit about our future, which is nice and exciting and something that we've got a bit of a plan for, really. So the whole centre's set up for obviously content, but now we've got this area here. The grand plan is gonna be not only for Days in the Bay, we've got this as a meeting area so the desks can tilt up and whatnot, but we've got wild ambitions to do a podcast, to be podcasters. It's a very busy show year for us. It's been a very busy year getting this activated and get it open. We've threatened and joked and promised that we'll do a podcast. We need to put our money where our mouth is, really. So we've kind of got to that point that we're getting towards the winter. Things are naturally slowing down for us. Let's say we're going to start the new year off with a podcast. So
okay,
that's a bit of pressure.
Yeah, that puts you under it,
especially
doesn't it?
Grant probably listening and thinking, oh God, because it'll be him that has to do it. So thank you for coming down. I hope it's beneficial to see.
Yeah, it's
so a lot of change, right?
Yeah, it's so different to when I was here a year ago. And as you guys have seen, like this is such a cool space now of just like everything you could possibly need. Yeah, hopefully you guys have also enjoyed seeing behind the scenes a bit of, I guess also what it takes for like even a brand of your size to get the content that you need to run the business nowadays in this modern world.
You need to be able to be versatile and nimble and create content yourself. So we're giving ourselves the best shot at doing that.
Also guys, if you're interested in maybe hosting one of these, I guess hosting? I'm not really hosting it, am I? You would be hosting it.
We'll host it for you.
Let me know in the comments if you want to do a detailing masterclass masterclass here. And also let me know what you think of this place. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also go check out Meguiars if you haven't before. I'd be amazed if you don't know who these guys are already.
Not where you're doing, what you're doing.
Like this one as well, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.